Around the age of 6, I was inside the house alone when I was surprised to hear unusual mumbling voices coming from the middle bedroom that grew louder and louder. I could hear furniture scooting on the hardwood floor. At this time, this was now our dad's bedroom. Being curious, I walked up to the door and put my hands around the knob, which was at the height of my nose. I turned the knob slowly and easing the door open. I cautiously peeked inside. Many hideous-looking creatures now stood silently in the room, having spotted me right away. There were tall, skinny ones, short, stout ones, lumpy, bumpy ones, each as ugly as the other. The creature standing just inside the door to the left was a 4-foot frog, I swear. He didn't just look like one, he was one. His skin was of a frog, his face was of a frog, but he stood on 2 feet. As he looked at me, I looked at him. I took note of the knotty bumps on his face and concluded that he was a toad frog. It would be as if someone had cloned a human with a toad. When I turned my attention to the room, I saw that it wasn't the same room, but another world or another dimension. The bed and other furniture were gone, and instead there was only one chair in the center, on which sat what I took to be the leader because he was larger than the rest. Gruffly, he demanded, "Come here." I was too scared and too young not to obey. Making my way towards the leader, the other ghouls leered, sneered, and mocked at my expense. One smirked, "Look at her." The others scoffed in agreement. And yet, they seemed to have a sense of awe, possibly at the humbleness of such a little, helpless creature. Meanwhile, I approached the leader. The first thing I took note of were his feet on the floor before me. They looked like alligator feet, literally. His skin was dark olive, scaly, and he had very large claws for nails. His whole body was the same, dark, scaly, and tough skin. His hands were like his feet with large, hard claws. I expected to look up and see an alligator's face, but it was different. He didn't have a long alligator snout. It was more blunted like a snake and definitely reptilian and with a broad nose. His eyes were yellow with reptilian slits. He said mockingly, "I bet you would like to be able to see into the future. I bet you would like to know your future, wouldn't you?" The group laughed and sneered. Although I hadn't thought about such a thing, I answered yes. He said, "Well, let's see." Pulling me upon his right knee, he waved his arm in the air and opened a projection of my life. His rough hand upon my right shoulder was uncomfortable, and his claws bothered my skin. This caused me to move my shoulder, and he took notice. Believe it or not, this hideous creature actually repositioned his clawed hand to ease my discomfort as he tried to be gentler. As we viewed my life in this window portal, for a long time, other than one minor note, things didn't interest him much. Finally, he made a sound that meant he was quite impressed. I had accomplished something. I saw myself as an adult, a mature, capable person, and thought, "Wow, is that me?" You can imagine how a child would feel to see themselves as a grown adult. It's quite surprising. Then came my death, and something alarmed him. The rest of the leering group grew somberly quiet. In disgust, the leader shoved me off his lap, and one of them proclaimed, "She's one of them." Another demanded, "Destroy her." One cautiously eyed the leader before he too agreed. The rest just stood quiet, watching and waiting on what the reptilian leader would do. The reptilian's thoughts went to this them up in the sky, and I knew that he was troubled. If he hurt me, he would have to deal with them, and he would have to deal with them now. "No," was his gruff reply. Pointing towards the door, he angrily ordered me to get out. I started slowly across the room, feeling a new sense of confidence. I deliberately paused and smugly looked back over my shoulder. This unnerved them, and some desired to pounce on me, if only their leader would give them the cue. Instead, he ordered again, "Go on, get out." I sensed there would be a confrontation between the two groups in the future, and I would be instrumental in some way in this struggle, including with some in that very room. Growing up, we were afraid to pass by this middle bedroom. We would slide past it, with our backs to the wall, or stop and leap past the door. If the door was open, we would fearfully reach into the room to close it. I still to this day will have nightmares about that room. There is always something very evil in it. These creatures were not the Greys. Unfortunately, many people have come to confuse demonic activity with alien activity. For one thing, the Greys have pretty much the same bland appearance because their bodies are clones that they transfer their consciousness into. Their personalities are distinct from one another. In this case, the creatures were each uniquely grotesque in appearance, and wickedly so. They were of varying heights and sizes, and were under the dominion of the large reptile. Another difference is that the Greys can move up and down and laterally in their dimensional entries and exits, while I've only known the dark ones to move laterally. They are not able to enter the heavens, so to speak. When I think back to when the Greys were taking us from our beds in this same middle room, I realize that one had stood at the closet door. I suspect the closet was a portal for these demonic beings. Was the Grey standing guard at the portal?